Hello friends, I'm Swapna Shetty. In this video, we are going to see something about abstract classes and abstract methods. So before looking into what is an abstract method, let us take a small example. Like if a method is written inside a class, it is available as it is to all the class objects. So let us take a class, my class, which contains a method calculate that calculates the square value of a number. If we create three objects to this class, all the three objects get the copy of this method, and from any object we can call and use the method. So let us write this particular scenario in a program. So for that, create a project called abstract samples. And in the abstract samples, create a class called common with a main method and with a package com.educators. So here I would like to write a class called my class, which is having a method called calculate, which will calculate the square of a number. That is, pass the number here, that is double value x, and just say print square value is x into x. And in order to use this class, let me create three objects to this particular class called my class. My class obj1 equals to new my class. And using each object, call the calculate method and pass the values like 3, 4, 5. So all the three objects will calculate the square value. So you can see 9, 16 and 25 in the console. So the point here is the requirement of all the objects is same, that is to calculate the square value. But sometimes the requirement of the objects will be different and entirely dependent on the specific object only. For example, if the first object wants to calculate square value and the second object wants to calculate square root value and the third object wants cube value. In such a case, how do we write the calculate method in my class? So what is the solution for this is, since calculate method has to perform three different tasks depending on the object, we cannot write the code to calculate square value in the body of the method. If we write three different methods like calculate square method, calculate square root method, and calculate cube in three different methods in my class, then all the three methods are available to all the three objects, which is not advisable. So when each object wants one method, providing all the three doesn't look reasonable. So in order to get each object with one and only required method, we should follow some steps. So first is, let us write a calculate method in my class. This means that every object wants to calculate something. If we write a body for this calculate method, it is commonly available to all the objects. So let us not write the body for the calculate method. So such a method is called abstract method. So I'm just removing the body and simply say semicolon. It is showing me an error, so instead of a semicolon. It is saying it requires a body, but I don't want a body because that is available to all the objects, which is not my requirement. So declare this method as abstract. Okay, since we wrote abstract method in my class, it is called abstract class. So declare abstract here as well. So now we have an abstract class with one abstract method. That means an abstract method is a method which doesn't have any implementation. An abstract class is a class which is having 0 or more abstract methods. Now the next step is to derive a subclass sub1 from my class so that the calculate method is available to the subclass. So we need to provide for that calculate method in sub1 such that it calculates square value. Similarly, we create another subclass, that is sub2, where we write the calculate method with body to calculate square root value. We create the third subclass sub3, where we write the calculate method to calculate cube value. And then we create the objects. For example, let me create a subclass first. Class sub1 extends my class. So it is showing an error that the type sub1 must implement. It must implement the inherited abstract method, that is the calculate method. So add that unimplemented method here. So here this method would calculate the square value. So simply say system.out.println square value is x into x. Now I write another subclass, class sub2 extends my class. So again I had to write inherited methods, that is add unimplemented methods. So calculate method is overridden here, and here I would just calculate the square root value, that is square root math dot square root of x. Similarly sub3, class sub3 extends my class, and here add the unimplemented method, that is calculate. Here I would calculate the cube value. That is x star x. So all three different subclasses performing three different tasks. Now how do we use this is, we cannot create an object to an abstract class. It is showing an error that cannot instantiate the type my class, because abstract class is having a method calculate which is unimplemented. That is, JVM cannot estimate how much memory to allocate for this particular method. So that is the reason we cannot create objects to an abstract class, but we can create objects to its subclasses. That is, I can say sub1 obj1 equals to new sub1. So create an object to the sub1, similarly to the sub2 obj2 equals to new sub2. Similarly to this sub3, obj3 equals to new sub3, and then call the methods accordingly, that is obj1 dot calculate of 3, obj2 dot calculate of 4, obj3 dot calculate of 5. Let's see what is the output. So you can see all the three different objects performing different tasks. So obj1, object 1 is calculating square value, object 2 is square root, and object 3 is cube value. So this is how we use abstract methods and abstract class. So let's come back to the PPT. So abstract method is basically a method which doesn't contain any body, and it is written when same method has to perform different tasks and declared using abstract keyword. When I use abstract, the method shouldn't have any body, so it should be ended with a semicolon. What is an abstract class? A class that contains 0 or more abstract methods is nothing but an abstract class, and it can contain instance variables, concrete and abstract methods. Concrete methods are those methods which has got implementation. So an abstract class can have both concrete as well as abstract methods, and it is declared again using abstract keyword. We cannot create an object to the abstract class because abstract class have abstract methods which are unimplemented, and JVM cannot estimate how much memory to be allocated to those particular methods. So that's the reason we cannot create object to abstract class. And abstract methods are to be implemented in the subclasses. And we cannot declare a class as abstract and final because both abstract and final are contradictory. That is, when I say abstract class, that means the methods, abstract methods inside an abstract class should be implemented in the subclasses. But if I declare a class as final, the class cannot be inherited. That means subclasses cannot be created to that particular class. So both are contradicting each other. So we cannot use abstract and final together. Let's see, if I use final here, what happens? It will show me an error saying my class can be either abstract or final, but not both. So we cannot declare a class as abstract and final. So that's all with the session. Thank you.